Recording.
Something like that.
Is it real?
No, it's a scientist.
Is you're ready? Are we ready?
For this?
Yeah.
You want me to record?
Yes, sir.
I have to enter a password. I have to enter a password. It locked me out. Well, I got it.
Excited to hear about your. They just made it sound so excited. Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to get started now. I wanted to thank everyone for coming here today. We're going to be doing a talk about our journey to Peru. So everyone who came to Peru on our most recent journey in 2014, raise your hand. Yeah, everyone who came to Peru in 2014, raise your hand. And we got a bunch of people who went to Peru in 2013, raise your hand, special guests. All right. And everybody else who's coming to hear the talk, welcome. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I'll be passing around a sign-in sheet as well later on, so more info if you'd like. So my name is Stefan Cassian. I first went to Peru in 2012. I had such a blast of a time that I couldn't help but share the magic. And we did a beautiful group tour with the students of SCNM on 2013, and then another group in 2014. It just keeps on coming. So the way I had heard about this, it was an email through SCNM actually. Joe Tafori, he's an MD practicing in Arizona, who happened to travel internationally and start working with shamanism, and he helped co-create a clinic in Peru on the base of the Amazon, which I'll be telling you about. So we're going to cover what makes this kind of medicine unique, how it benefits you and people you bring, like referrals of patients, what to expect when you go, how this fits into naturopathic medicine, and we'll have highlights of our group journey. So those of you who came here today who would like to share some of your stories and art and crafts and so forth, you're more than welcome to do that. So, and if you're interested in learning more, we'll explain how to do that as well. So this is our beautiful group from 2014, and what you see is we have Maria on the upper right, and Pedro, who's staff at the clinic, and Ronaldo, Marcel, and Ricardo are the shamans on the back, along with Dr. Joe. There's Ginger and Aisha. And also in the middle row, we have Ray. Oh, there you are, Ray. And Sarah, and that was me, Sarah Cecilia, Angie, Amalia, Anna, Youngju, Corey, Maggie, and Sarah Majors. Anybody I forgot? I think that's everybody. And so the way this journey happened, we went in September during our student school break. Thankfully, we have some time for that. And we stopped through Peru by way of Panama and landed in Iquitos. What's unique about Iquitos, it's the northernmost city in Peru that it's completely surrounded by water and it feeds into the Amazon River. Very unique that way, very fun city. So the center is unique because it was founded by Joe in 2001, and it practices a 3,000-year-old shamanic tradition of medicine and healing that has not been touched by the bad man. So, you know, and it has healing and education pasajeros from around the world. So you know how busy we get with our cell phones and email and Facebooking and just in modern culture with all the toxicities and challenges. So this is a total chance to step out and experience nature here in all of its glory without the technology kind of getting in the way sometimes, keeping our ability to relax down to a minimum. And what's unique about this also is it's a Shipibo diet of healing that's been around for 3,000 years. We were originally taught in philosophy naturopathy, you have nature cure, use the elements to heal you, the sun, the rain, you know, nature, the green, and you have a chance to be immersed in that completely. So this is a process we'll talk about a little bit more. It includes master and healing plants that when you get to meet with the shaman, they'll walk you through. And there's healing ceremonies, there's apprenticeship programs, there's plant medicine instructions. You're really immersed in the way medicine is done, the way it's been done for thousands of years, and it's worked. So why change it? It's nature's largest natural pharmacy. Hundreds of thousands of different plants. We're still discovering what they're all about. So people come here for two different reasons. One is you've tried everything and you don't get better. You know, you're just not healing. So the other reason is you want to explore yourself and transform, because as a healer, as a naturopath, or whatever your career path is, you find that the more you know yourself, the more healed you are, the better you can be of service to other people. So people come here for everything from alcoholism to insomnia to chronic fatigue to anxiety. You've done everything and you need a complete reset for your body. So we're taught to look at the root cause of disease, and this center does as well. So when you first get here, this is something we all share. It's a beautiful experience. It's called the vomitivo. So when we get there, this is I believe it's called ayucena. It's an onion. It's almost like from the onion family, and it tastes like eh. And really what it's designed to do when you get there to the clinic is to clean your GI out, prepare you for whatever is to come next. So you eat it. It actually looks like paste. You drink some paste, it tastes like meh, like chalk. And half an hour later, you're like, I feel fine, then suddenly you're like, ugh. But it goes pretty quickly and you actually feel better. So also what happens when you get there to the center is, they do an intake, just like you would in any other medical clinic, and they'll find out what your goals are, where your medical challenges are, what you'd like to work on in your time here, and what your patients would want to do as well. So this is the lovely staff of Niue Rao, and Svita, she's a visionary artist. So what's interesting is this is founded by somebody from Canada, Svita, and Dr. Joe is the medical side. Svita's like the art side, the visionary side, and Ricardo is the master shaman, meaning he's done thousands of these ceremonies. Really gifted light worker healer. And so daily you get master plant remedies. So once they meet with you and do your intake, they'll assign you a plant to work with every single day, meaning they'll juice it fresh from the jungle, and depending on what you want to develop, like a lot of us did piñon blanco, which is a plant that grows in the wild that you drink every day, a little bit of, like, it tastes almost like wheatgrass, but it's designed to increase the light in your body and in your being. And of course, nature is phenomenally beautiful there, and it rules. And here's this one beautiful dog, Francesca, who has these glowing eyes, and I've never seen eyes like that. So if there is some sense of beauty there, it's just magnified completely. And that's little Francesca's baby. Her name is Puffball, I'm sure. And these noisy parrots. You get the marmoset. He was for sale at the house. And you do eat a light, clean dieta, as they call it. They make the food there fresh, and you get everything from plantains to corbina, which is a spiny fish, sometimes chicken, but mainly they want the food to be really light. Quinoa is very popular there, and a lot of greens. So the dieta, the purpose is to prepare your body for healing and for medicine. Let food be your medicine, let medicine be your food. So here we go with a perfect example of the diet specifically geared to help you heal. And a lot of people, just that alone can be enough to reset them, because we have food cravings, food addictions. The food there tastes pretty nice and clean and light. There's also plenty of apples and water and tea if you want. So one of the most unique features about this clinic is that they work with ceremonies 4 times a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday night. And these ceremonies involve a special plant medicine that's been discovered and worked with for thousands of years in the Amazon. The legend is this plant actually came to the shamans in a dream and told them which 2 plants to mix together. So one of the components of the ceremony is this tea which you drink, and it's called ayahuasca and chacruna. So the ayahuasca vine grows in the wild, and that's what is being held right there. That has medicine as well, and the chacruna is another plant that is mixed together, unlocks the key, biochemically speaking, to activate the healing properties of this plant. You take one, you take the other, it doesn't have the same effect at all. That's what's incredibly fascinating about it. The ayahuasca has natural MAO inhibitors, so that's really beautiful for allowing your brain receptors to heal. A lot of people come here with drug and alcohol addictions, which this clears out. And the shamans will be the first to tell you this is plant medicine. In this culture, we talk about drug addiction or pharmacology in terms of one particular chemical having one effect on your brain. This has hundreds of different effects that all work synergistically. The shamans are really clear about this being very special medicine in that regard. And I was going to have Corey, when I break here, to explain a little bit more about the biochemistry of ayahuasca and how it works. Has anyone ever heard about ayahuasca and plant medicine before? Okay. Which is why you're here. Anybody on this end? Cool. So This is the ceremony, Maloka, where the beautiful rituals are being held. It's it's like almost like a, looks an earth ship once we get into it. There's maybe room for 24 mats around the floor, and there's several shamans guiding it. There's Dr. Tafur there usually every night, supervising the ceremonies. So these are opportunities for you to spend your time healing yourself and allowing the spirit of the plant and the ceremony to take you into yourself and work on whatever it is you need to or want to. Often we don't get a chance to do that. Even if you see someone psychotherapeutically for an hour, how deeply do you really get into your work or your process? Here is a chance. These ceremonies last 4 to 5 to 6 hours sometimes, and you get very deep into your own process and be able to heal. People who sometimes have drug or alcohol addictions come in and they'll say, I met the spirit of my alcoholism and I got rid of it. I literally purged out of my body. Which is one of the other interesting features of what ayahuasca does, is it causes people to purge. And you might purge by sweating, by crying, by having visions, by purging out of other orifices in your body. But you do feel incredibly cleansed afterwards. I'm sure we'll hear some stories about that as well. So this was a very popular book and movie, DMT, The Spirit Molecule, who talked about the chemistry of what occurs naturally in our brain and body. This DMT is in high concentrations when you're born, when you die, when you meditate, also when you have peak experiences, but it also occurs naturally in your body but gets broken down very quickly. The MAO inhibitor in ayahuasca helps maintain that in a long time in high quantities in your body, where it can help trigger mystical experiences. So the other interesting thing is, here's the pathway. We've learned about tryptophan, 5-HT, which becomes serotonin in the body, which becomes melatonin to help you sleep, and then DMT, which can help you dream. So this is the process that happens. The DMT happens in the pineal gland, which is in many cultures considered like a third eye. So very interesting connections there. So this DMT Spirit Molecule was written by Rick Strassman, who was an MD, who wrote about the biology of near-death and mystical experiences. And he said, by having these experiences, you feel a lot more connected to the world, to your life. You don't have a fear about death or the unknown. And there have been other research about the ayahuasca ceremonies relating very actively to the parts of your brain that are responsible for imagery, which is why people have very vivid imagery illuminating your inner process, kind of like you are in a dream. The other healing aspect of this process you can't explain unless you're there. It's like you're being sung to in a cosmic rock concert. Ricardo has this beautiful voice. It's called the Icaro. It's a healing sounds, this healing music that he sings from beyond. And these words are specifically designed to clean the space of the Maloka and help you heal whatever it is you're challenged with. And when you go there, he will pick time for each and every one of you to be sung to and healed. So whatever it is your goals are, he'll help with that. Visionary art's a big component of the ceremony. These are some of the visions people have painted and seen, and some of our fearless journeyers have painted some beautiful art as well. So, and many of them didn't even consider themselves as artists, but you'll see some of the beautiful work that they did. So we also know about Gabor Mate. He's a physician who's worked with Canadian and French shamans, and he's treated a drug and alcohol addiction specifically, and he's very successfully, more successful than AA. So the interesting thing is the view of the shamans is very connected with all of life. This is a model that connects spirit and soul, mind, life, matter, and physics. There's no distinction for them. You know, when people explain DNA to them, the chemistry of DNA, they're like, yeah, what took you so long? And then we think they're primitive because they live in a hut, and they think we're primitive because we're so stressed out. We come there pale and stressed out. And I try to explain the concept of stress to one of the workers. They're like, huh? Yeah. So the naturopathic principles, I thought it's important to realize that this is really part of the roots of our profession, whether we know it or not. This center and this path uses the healing power of nature really much so. You feel like a little tiny ant with the glory of nature all around you. Identifying and treating the cause. Very important here because they're looking at the spiritual cause of this. Often it's an energetic thing. The shaman can actually see some energy that is off in your body, which, you know, in chemical terms might be, you know, the pH is decreased there, or there might be a wound later that maybe you were in a car accident, but they can actually see that with their eyes. Through the ceremonies, first do no harm. The ceremonies are very clean and they're supervised. There's actually security guards around if they ever had to use them, but they're just there to make sure you're physically feeling safe. Doctor as teacher, when you're there, there are ceremonies but there's also time to debrief and teach each other what you learned. You get to learn from the shaman about the history of plant medicine and treating the whole person, which is really important. And that's just their view of you as a body, mind, spirit. And that's such a great way to feel yourself heal, and not just looking at what's wrong with you biochemically, for example, and taking a few supplements. This is really looking at your whole continuum of who you are. And prevention, once we get to the root cause, your healing is done preventatively. So this is where I wanted Corey to share a little bit about the biochemistry. What anything else you want to share about DMT?
You know, if anybody wants to come up and talk to me, no, you did a really good job. I think that the biggest thing is to do your own homework. YouTube's a great resource. The MAPS conferences that you talked about are on YouTube. Also, Joe Rogan, I don't know if you guys know, he does a really good job explaining some of the biochemistry a little bit with people like Amber Lyon and John Hancock, or Graham Hancock, excuse me. But yeah, just getting out there, doing your own research, and reading and watching. Yeah, that's what I would suggest.
So basically, Joe Rogan is a great resource. There's some great YouTube resources as well. Also, we'll pass around a sign-in sheet if anyone wants info. We can send you some resources to check out. So this was just a really big overview, and definitely I can't tell the story as well as other people can. So what we all did is put together a beautiful book of our experiences, and from this book we'll show it online, and those of you who'd like to share, you're more than welcome to come up and read your story or add anything else you'd like. So Jinder, if you want to come up and help me set up, Ginger was so helpful in setting up a mix book, which has our favorite photos and our stories, and we'll go in order of everybody. Whoever's not here, we can read your story. Oh, beautiful.
So this is my second time going to Peru. This is my second time going to Peru. I got to go last year, and some of the people that went with us last year are here. So if you guys want to raise your hand, I'm so excited to see you and have you here today as well. And they did a lovely book last year, so I was inspired to do one this year as well. And I got to help coordinate and organize the trip with Stefan, which I am so grateful that I had that opportunity to do. And it made my experience different than the first time in a good way. So this is our group picture, which you saw before. And this is the sign for Niue Rao. That's the name of the center that we went to. So the first person I have is Stefan, if he wants to talk about his experience first.
Sure do.
And these are his pages in the book. Also, there's these Palo Santo wood. Yeah, we're going to pass them around. I've had them out in air, so they're not as strong a smell as when we were in Peru, but it's one of those things that you can use to burn like you would sage for clearing and healing. So I'm going to pass these around. You can smell them, see what they smell like.
So I love this show and tell. Just things in Peru in the jungle just seem way more intense. The Palo Santo just smells delightful. You can still buy it in the States, but it doesn't smell as nice as it does in Peru. So this was my note to Joe. Dear Joe, I've completed my 3rd annual retreat at Niue Rao. Your work is as powerful as ever. The second group I brought, mostly medical students, they all experienced powerful transformative healings and insights. And a breakthrough for me was rediscovering memories from the past I thought I had dealt with forgiveness and compassion, but the emotions were still buried and frozen. And then after the ceremonial clearings, I felt refreshed, I felt renewed, I felt purified. And the work is challenging, but it's so rewarding. I mean, when you go and kind of, they call it face your demons, it could take, it's so easy to get distracted from that. But when you're in the ceremony and you have the support of the entire environment space, you really kind of get in there with that. So there's something to be said about people who've done, like one ceremony, it's equivalent of 100 hours of traditional psychotherapy. You really get to move through your stuff really quickly, or not if you don't want to. But why carry baggage? Like, why make your journey in life harder and slower, really? So you, the shamans, and the caring staff go out of your way to help each of us individually, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. So these were some photos of me from a bird's eye view from the Maloka. Like, we have these beautiful mats, and we just kind of hang out on them at night, during the ceremonies, and during the day when we debrief and share stories about what happened. Your privacy is always respected there, but you're always welcome to share as as much as you want. You could speak quietly or privately to the staff, but you get a nice balance of that. And can you believe, it's hard to get the color of that. It was like a dragonfly, and it was luminous. I've never seen a blue that blue. It was so glowing. So, and this was me with Sarah. Sarah was a yoga teacher, and still is a yoga teacher, and she taught yoga for the students always who went. So if you do go, anything you want to offer and share, you're more than welcome to. So, yeah. Aisha.
Okay, so, can you guys hear me? Yeah? Okay, so, to me personally, I can't really explain my experience 100%, because it was a whole lot. But what I can say is it was the most beautiful healing experience that I've ever had in my life, in my entire life. But the most beautiful part about it for me is that me and Mother Ayahuasca clicked like from jump, and I was able to tell her what I wanted and kind of how I wanted my experience to go. So I knew that I needed her to be gentle with me, and she did that. So we had a very loving relationship from jump. So to me, that was the best, and I needed that in order for my healing to start. Because she knows you as a person, as an individual. So the way that she comes into your body, it fits you specifically. She just knows you. So your healing is, for me, or was for me, very transforming, and it was rewarding, and I received a lot of love from that because of the way she did it. But you have to have your own experience. You have to go out there and see what you need, and it may not be great always, because it's not always great, but that first night when you feel her love and you feel the world within you, like, ooh, there's nothing else like that. Nothing else like that. And it does not matter how hard it gets. Once you go back to that feeling, you want to go back forever. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
Do you want to read your story?
Sure. So, I mean, this isn't really a story, but this is, it's not even a tale. This is just Aisha. This is just who I am, and when I go somewhere, I like to have a good time. So in Peru, I wanted to have a good time. Joe has a beautiful personality. He's a Leo like me, so we have a lot of fire, and I'm pretty crazy, so this is what I wrote. So I said I don't really know where to begin. Words are powerful, but I prefer to show my appreciation. Oh my God, I can't speak. So I'll make this an active letter. I said, so close your eyes and imagine how many ways I can show my appreciation. I cannot say that word right now. Being that all the... So I said that being that all the words in the world can never express my sincerest gratitude and admiration for you. Now to the sentimental reality. There are not very many people who I admire or value, but you have a very beautiful, genuine, caring spirit that is very rare. I didn't know what Peru and ayahuasca would have in store for me. I just knew it was I just knew it was right, and plus, I like adventure, and I definitely went on an adventure every night. The good felt especially good, and the bad was horrific, but you made it better. When I wasn't able to, and no person, absolutely no one, has ever been able to do that. I always depend on myself and comfort myself, so that was a true gift. I know ayahuasca made that possible. Otherwise, I would have been too strong and proud in my helplessness to ask for your help. I didn't mind being broken down as long as you were around. You gave me comfort in just knowing you were here. You're going to be an amazing shaman, trust me, I know. Peace and love. Angie, can we come up and embarrass you? Okay. Yay.
So I really wanted to go in 2013 when they put the trip together, but it just didn't work out. And it's probably because I was supposed to go in 2014.
is Yeokju. I also wanted to go the very first time too, but I do listen to my inner voices when it comes to doing something really big, and it just didn't feel right. And when I went to this trip, I just knew it was just perfect. And my experience was just, I cannot describe it in just few words at all. I've been working as a healer since 2004, so going to this trip was sort of like a 10-year anniversary of something really big happened in my life, and I thought there was something, maybe it was a perfect time for me to now upgrade something to happen, and it felt like it was just that. I felt like I was totally reborn from ground up, from my origin of who I am to what's to happen. So it's indescribable. I mean, people who were there with me, they know what happened, but it's just, I can't. So this painting right here, that was sort of like based on my experience, and that's a dragon, that's actually me. And so in the best way I could describe, I described it to the artist, and then he made it, that painting, and it was better than I could actually imagine. It was just so amazing. I didn't bring it, I'm so sorry. Maybe another time I'll bring it. And it's three-dimensional. If you put the 3D glasses, it pops, and it's so amazing. I wish I could tell you more stories, but it's just something, if you really listen to your inside and meditate on it, and then find out whether this is the right time for you to go. Maybe if it's not, it's next time. And my approach to this whole thing was that I kind of knew what I wanted, but at the same time, I didn't want to stop the divine answer that comes to me without me knowing, because I don't know everything. I think I know, but we don't. So I was kind of serious about being really open and just receiving what I'm supposed to receive, and I felt like I received everything I needed. So I meditated. I just kept things to myself, and I kind of tried to stay quiet and just relax the whole time. And I think it worked out really great. And ayahuasca, actually, she works with you not just during the ceremony, but she works with you in between the ceremonies, after you come back from the trip. So it's continual unraveling. So I hope you all experience this sometime. So Corey's next.
This is like the world's smallest microphone. Oh, perfect. Hi guys. So, like a lot of other people, I think Angie was saying it too, I was planning on actually going to Peru the trip before, and things didn't quite work out. And I actually am very grateful for that, because I don't know if I was truly 100% invested in going. Actually, waiting a year allowed me to talk to some of the other group members in the back and get their experience and their knowledge on how to kind of navigate, because taking ayahuasca is almost like being in another dimension, and you have to learn how to navigate. And learning those tools are very important in you being comfortable in working with ayahuasca and going deeper. So I was very thankful for being able to wait for a year. Other than that, just a little bit about my story. So kind of Stefan explained a little bit about how Iquitos is pretty rural, and it takes, what, I don't know, 45 minutes, hour and a half on motorcycles to actually get to Niue route. So you're very, very isolated. It's a very spiritually connected area. I don't consider myself necessarily a very spiritual person,
But Ricardo, who's the master shaman, actually picked this spot specifically because there's a certain plant, Niue Rao, which is kind of this like red leafy plant that's very prevalent in the area, and it's not prevalent anywhere else. And it's pretty amazing because the actual clearing where they have all the buildings was just naturally there in the heart of the Amazon. So it's very spiritual that way. I chose to be in a tambo, which is a male, like, single cabin, which makes me even more isolated than you're isolated in Niue Rao. And I remember the first night, you don't obviously taking ayahuasca, and you just sleep. And I remember going out to my tambo and laying down and looking all around me, and I couldn't even see my hand 2 inches from my face. And I'm not trying to scare you guys, but I was just realizing, like, holy crap, I'm in the middle of the jungle. And then the sounds started. And I heard some sounds that scared the living daylights out of me. But the catch-22 is it actually allowed me to grow an inner strength in myself, to realize, you know, things like, you know, darkness is really just the absence of light, you know? Like those kind of metaphors and those kind of lessons. And so I learned a lot, not only in my ceremonies, it was so profound, but just being with other people and hearing them talk about their experience was like 70% of the trip. I don't think I would have enjoyed the experience if Joe Tafur hadn't been there, because from day one, he takes you in, he kind of does a medical intake and realizes and talks to you about what issues you want to work on, and you know, if you have any medications that are counterindicated or anything like that. So he always makes you feel very safe. And every day after the ceremony, you have to drag yourself out of bed and go back to the main center and talk for, I don't know, 3 hours. Everybody gets a little, you know, 5-minute talk about what you experienced and then what you should do moving forward. So it's a real teaching process, because the first couple of times you do ayahuasca, it can be a little hairy and a lot of things can be fuzzy because you don't know how to navigate, you know? And so, yeah, I really love my experience. And if you guys have any questions, you can totally come up and talk to me afterwards. I would like to, this is my tapestry that I purchased, and a lot of the artwork that you see that's stitched, it has like these specific patterns, and these patterns and the colors that they are actually represent the songs. And some people actually during the ceremony will see these patterns, and I was actually able to see the patterns, so I picked this because it was very representative of my experience. And then ayahuasca is the mother plant, and she represents herself as many different animals in the Shipibo culture, and one of them is like the green anaconda. There's also like a blue butterfly or a leopard. So that's just the tapestry I picked. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, just let me know. And do you want me to read mine?
Would you recommend it to patients, or in what cases?
Actually, you know, I wish I would have said that. One of the big reasons why I decided to go was because I spent all my time doing research, and I wanted to be able to give my patients something that would help them when nothing else would. You know, like when you tried everything and they still weren't getting better, this was something I wanted to offer to my patients, and now I do. And me and Ginger have been talking a little bit about possibly, you know, once a year, once every other year, taking, you know, the 2-3 patients that you can't really get better down to Peru, you know, and it'd be really, really helpful for your future practice. Yeah.
This is the main road in and out of Niue Rao, and they actually do, I believe, laundry right there. So that's comforting image. This was another 2 students that got to go, and another beautiful view of one of the branches of the Amazon. What is it? I'm sorry? The letter?
Yeah.
Sarah Majors writes, Joe, thank you for making us all feel so welcome and responding to all of our needs. I really enjoyed this experience. Definitely can't forget it. If I ever make it big one day doing stand-up comedy, I'll give you a kickback. Thanks again, solidarity. And And I put a Walt Whitman quote in here for her. She's very drawn to him, and she can tell you more about that if you talk to her. And then this is Sarah's page, and she was going to come later today, so I don't know if you want to reserve that for her or I'll read it. Joe, thanks so much for your support and holding space for me to open up and share some really difficult memories, realizations that came up. Your healing energy is truly magical. Namaste. So again, beautiful images. This is another bridge we came over, headed towards the center on our trek from Iquitos. And then Amalia is next. She would like to share.
Hi everybody, I'm Amalia. So me and my husband Ray went together this year, and I don't think we could have asked for a better trip. It was just such an amazing experience. The only way that I can really explain is kind of like a bombardment of all your senses, your emotions, and your spirit, your soul. It's just an amazing experience. You really, if you're open to it and you really respect the master plants in ayahuasca and allow them to do their work in you, you really get to get some deep spiritual and emotional work done. You get to really look at some of your preconceptions and things in your experience in your past that have really blocked you and progressing in the future or currently. So it was just a really great experience for us, and I'm glad that we were able to go as a couple. So that was amazing. I'm just going to read my letter. This is the letter that I wrote for Joe. Dear Joe, the amazing Dr. Shaman, the experience I had at Niue Rao Centro Espiritual was infinitely mind-expanding and overwhelmingly humbling. And though I wished I had been able to experience this place when I was younger, I feel that it was meant to be at this time and definitely at this place. I could have not have asked for a more trusting and compassionate group of people to help with such an awe-inspiring and sometimes frightening experience. The energy vibration of Niue Rao can be felt immediately on arriving, and I knew I had made the right choice. I was ready for a spiritual journey, and I received it in full force. Mother Ayahuasca was so kind of me to show me the spirit world and guide me in letting go of my preconceptions. I definitely felt the physical and emotional healing in each ceremony. I still hear the Icaros as I remember my experiences, and silently I send my appreciation to the wonderful shamans that I now consider part of my spiritual family. Even only a few weeks back, I missed being at the center and being a part of such an unpretentious but powerful community. I will return. As for you, I have no words to express my gratitude for the love and respect you provided to each one of us during our journeys. The devotion that you express in your words and actions must be an extension of the Creator's healing powers. Your work has inspired me to revive the traditional healing methods of my culture in Arizona. If I can be half the healer that you are, I will be amazing. You will always be a part of my family in this world and in the next. Much love. If anybody has any questions or would like to know a little bit more about my personal journey during the experience, just let me know.
So Raven's next.
Hi everybody, how you doing? I had the pleasure of meeting with these beautiful black people. Can you hear me, or do I need to use the thing a little more? Sorry. I can't express the amount of love and peace that I felt while I was at Niue Rao, and I have a family that's with me here today, and I just can't tell you, like, everything that happened was amazing. And if you could just take a step back and put some attention into something, I can't believe how powerfully it can change your life. You know, it's an amazing experience. I hope that every one of you has the pleasure of doing it. Set your intention. go blind, go study. It doesn't matter. You're not ready for what's going to happen to you. It's just, it's going to come and it's going to heal you and you're going to feel amazing. Again, I can't tell you how wonderful it was for myself to just be a regular person that went with these like powerful human beings who are, you know, I think their experiences were so profound because they're ready to heal, you know, they're ready to heal other people. And so they had the experience, so a little healing themselves. And the mother is so kind to us. She takes you on this beautiful exploration of yourself that you didn't realize was possible. And then when you break through that, we get even more, you know, you get to go into the universe and find out what that was like, you know, being out there. And so it was very mind expanding. It was very mind blowing for myself. I mean, the good was so fantastic and the bad was so fantastic. So again, I know all of you guys are healers and it's in your life. It's part of the being that you are. And I hope that if you're willing and you can, you take a step and do something different because it will, I think, benefit the nature of things in yourself and in the people that you're going to come in contact with in your life, you know, because there's going to be a lot of them. You guys are going to do such great work. I'm so proud of every single person who decided to be a naturopathic doctor. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being out here in the world for us. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Anna, and I want to start off by sharing my artwork here. There was a visionary artist there, Rusin, and he's a lovely person. The moment you meet him, it's like, I don't know, it's indescribable. He's just full of love and a lot of talent. And so I had a lot of visions, like a lot. And I was very sensitive to ayahuasca, to the point that towards the end, I literally would just dip my finger and put it on my forehead and I would have visions. So that's my disclaimer, is that everyone's gonna react different to it. I didn't have a negative response to it. I was just very sensitive to it. And I was able to get a lot of work done. My initial reason for going was, like Corey had mentioned, sometimes people try a lot of different things to heal themselves physically, and over the years I had done a lot of different things, and I was finding that while there were moments in my life that there was progress and I was feeling better, there was always something that was kind of like a roadblock, and I was always going back to the same crap. And I didn't know why. I thought, why isn't this working for me? And I actually accidentally walked into the meeting that you guys were having in here. It wasn't accidentally, actually. It was meant for me to walk in. I was walking through the hall, full of questions within me and trying to find answers. And I sat right here in front where Aisha's sitting, and that's where I heard Dr. Joe talking about, you know, Peru and ayahuasca, and he had a patient here sharing his experience and how he found physical healing. And from the moment I entered and I sat down, I knew that I needed to be on this trip. What I didn't know, I thought, was that a lot of people were already signed up for this trip. And I didn't even bother to ask, can I go? I was just like, what do I need to do? What paperwork do I need to fill out? And who do I give a check to? I didn't even ask my husband what his opinion was until like the day before I was going to give my check to Heather. And I thought, maybe I should ask him. You know, because he's okay. And of course, he's very supportive. He was going to say yes. And I have a 4-year-old daughter that I've never left her side. And so the biggest thing for me was, can I go to Peru and be okay with leaving her for 2 weeks? Because I'm just in love with her. And I couldn't, I felt like that would be something hard for me to do. But I knew deep inside that I needed this healing. And it wasn't like I was going on this adventure, you know, to have fun. I was going, well, it was an adventure, and I did have fun, but I was there to explore myself at the spiritual and emotional level, because everything I tried here was not working for me. So I had an explosive amount of visions and healing and answers that I never saw. I never even would have imagined that these were some of the things that were causing me to have these physical issues going on, and they all had to do with emotions. And now that this year I've become a little bit more involved with things that I find myself interested in, like AK, and Dr. Merzik says that everyone's physical illnesses come from our emotions. And so he has a saying that I just love it when he says that oceans of emotions, and the issues are in the tissues. And when he says that, that's me, and that's many of us, but we just don't want to acknowledge and accept it. We think, oh, we have this pathogen and it entered my body. Yeah, but why were you susceptible to that? Something had to do that. And for me, I can make the connections exactly where my issue started because of my experiences in Peru. And it's not so much how it started, it's how can I find healing in that for myself. So one of my visions, the second day I was there, Mother Ayahuasca, we say mother because this is really a feminine energy that you're working with. And just like a mother, she is loving, but she's also very firm and stern, so she knows what you need. She knows to what degree to work with you, like Aisha mentioned. And by the second day, she knew what I needed. So she took me on a journey. And when people talk about religion and they talk about hell, hell is not a place. Hell is just, it's just a mindset. And we create that hell for ourselves. And she took me to a dark place of all my fears. And they were real. It's not what the Bible says what hell looks like and there's fire. No. All your fears are there. And I was humble enough to walk with her and allow her to take me by the hand, literally, and say, I'm going to take you through all this, and you're going to be okay. And so she took me through the darkness, and in the darkness, she showed me the beauty of it too. She wanted me to see that no matter what situation you're going through in your life, no matter how dark that moment is, that you can choose to see the beauty in it too. And I had failed to see the beauty in it. So this painting came as a vision to me, and I asked Rusa, I said, I want you to paint this. I said, this is what I want. Every time I look at it, I get the most beautiful feelings ever, because in the darkness, that's when we can really appreciate the beauty of the moon. You can't appreciate its beauty in the day. You really can't. The stars, we can appreciate the beauty of the stars at night. Can't really see that in the day, and really see the beauty in them. And let me tell you, in Peru, wow! Like the sky was just glowing with beauty at night, and the sounds just added to it. I felt like I was in a lullaby every night, with the sounds. I miss the sounds of the jungle. It's beautiful. I would rather hear that than the sound of traffic. That was like, oh. So I wanted him to draw a little jaguar here, just kind of depicting my daughter, that she can play in the dark and enjoy the beauty of the darkness, and there's still color, there's still beauty. These eyes up here are of a white tiger and a jaguar as well, and it's just reflecting that, protection, that you're always protected, that healing energy, that Mother Ayahuasca, whatever you want to call it, that mother's inside of all of us, and it's always protecting us. And so the beautiful thing about this artwork, and I didn't bring my 3D glasses, but all his work is 3D. And when you look at it, it just really pops out so beautifully. And so, I encourage, if it's not you, maybe it's someone you do know that can really benefit from working through emotional healing stuff or physical. or spiritual, you know, everything. This is a really great experience, and I am so grateful for going. I definitely think that the people who were there added to my healing. I really do feel they added to my healing. I went with the intention that I was going to sleep all day, and I was so energized all day. And the master plants, I was on Piño Blanco, and it fills you up with light. I felt so energetic. The moment I came back to Arizona, I was tired. And I realized it was the nature, the plants, everything there, the diet, that just really made me feel well. So I'm going to wrap it up.
So these are some of the pictures from our trip. So on the left, you saw the Maloka. This is our art Maloka. Here's some hammocks that are spread out throughout the Niue Rao. This is ayahuasca and chacruna brewing. This is the ayahuasca vine. This is chacruna. There was one day where we got to go on a boat ride to the beach. So we went and chilled out at the beach for a little bit. This is my page. I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to be able to go for the second time. And each time I go, I know what's the next step for me, so I know I need to go back by myself for my healing, but also bring other people there, if possible, every year on retreats. So my experience was different this time. It was a different group of people I was with, different things that I had to work on. You know, I had peeled off layers the first trip, and then I had more layers to peel off the second time. And I struggled this time, actually. I would have thought that I would have really know how to work with ayahuasca, but there were different things that I had to deal with that I didn't know how to deal with. And I'm grateful for ayahuasca in that if I can't work through my emotional stuff, if I don't know how, she's still working on me physically and doing physical healing from wounds, traumas, things that are going on in my body I don't even know that's going on. She had future premonitions that were possibilities for me that I struggled to accept, good and bad things. So, you know, Dr. Joe was saying it could be, you know, a possibility as a suggestion that could be one route that you could go, that maybe that's not the end-all be-all route, but it's an amazing experience. If you feel the instinct to go, definitely go. Just know that you're going to take medicine and going to get healed. It's not a drug. It's not, you know, a trip that you're just going to go on. I mean, there's some powerful stuff that's going on, and to know that that's really what's right for you. And if you don't feel that way, then I wouldn't suggest going. It's not for everyone. But be prepared to heal and work on your stuff. And it's scary, but you have support that's there while you're there if you're ready to deal with it. And it's a beautiful thing. We have people that were here from last time that would love to, if they would love to share, I would invite you to share. If Sarah wants to share, she came in later, but she went this year. If you want to share first. Okay. This is also Maggie. She went, but she's not able to be here today.
So I went to Peru, not sure exactly what to expect, but I knew I wanted to work with the medicine, and so it was an incredible experience for sure, healing inside and out for me. I felt more connected to nature than I think I've ever been before. The scenery was beautiful, the atmosphere was really supportive to all the healing taking place, so I felt like it was good in that respect. And the medicine has a way to kind of bring up whatever it is that you might be working on and help you with it. So I had some things come up for me that were a little scary, but at the same time, I felt very healed afterwards. So I felt very supported by everybody there, and also by Joe, by all the shamans. Everyone there was incredibly awesome and supportive. So yeah, I would definitely say if you want to work on healing, it's a wonderful way to connect with it in a natural way, and yeah, just to connect with yourself on a deeper level for healing.
So Maria also went, and she's not here today, I don't believe, to share her story. But this was the Maloka, a bird's eye, a wide panoramic view of it. And this is our group in our white clothing for the ceremony. They suggest white clothing just to encourage the light during the healing. The last ceremony, they actually did, you can see it's all wet right here. They did an herbal bath in the Maloka to clear out dark spirits that were there, I guess. So it had a very interesting, strong, potent smell. These are just some of the views that were there. This is the Niue Rao plant. This is the ayahuasca vine. This is one of the trails and another plant that we had here. And that was just some of nature right there by the bathroom. The spider to greet you. And then this is the view on the way out. If the other members that have gone to Peru in 2013 want to share, I invite you to share your experience. So Matthew, he went in 2013. Stefan and I got to go with Matthew, so if he'd like to share. I'm so excited you're here.
I'm excited to be here as well, and I wouldn't be here if I wasn't excited. I wanted to hear about all of your journeys, and I saw some of you and spoke to some of you before you went, and I was really excited that I was going to get to hear all of your stories. And it's amazing that it's so consistently positive and that everyone has such transformational experiences. No one comes back and like, oh, that was a waste of time, or I had a really bad time. It's like, it really is the most profound medicine that I've ever experienced. And I've been on this alternative healing, natural type stuff, researching for, probably since I was 17 or 18, and I've tried a million different diets, and supplements, and this therapy, and that therapy, and acupuncture, and meditation, and it's like, this is the future. Like, it's multi-dimensional medicine. It works on your entire being. You're your own greatest healer. You know, you don't need some doctor to fix you from the outside. You take the medicine, you go on your own journey, and you heal yourself, and you just face a lot of the things that are holding you back. A lot of times, our physical problems, they are exactly, Anna, yeah. As Anna said, it's emotional stuff, it's spiritual stuff, all healing. And disease starts and ends on the spiritual level before it manifests physically. And this is a way to really tap into that. It's the most powerful thing I've ever experienced, and that's why I'll probably be involved in the ayahuasca community for the rest of my life, whether that's I go and pursue and do shaman training, or just being part of something where I live. It's the greatest doctor and the greatest medicine I've ever seen. So if you're here today and you've never done it before, which is not that many people in the room, but if you feel called to it, definitely do it. I mean, for $2,500 or $2,000, you could be rid or be much further down your path of dealing with your issues instead of just carrying it around and going to this doctor or that doctor and paying all this money to people who aren't going to know what's really inside of you. You got to go explore that. So for $2,000, you know, go do it. It'll completely change your life. I mean, if I don't know, I'm probably going to go again. Oh, I had a question for the couples who went. So when I went on a solo journey, but my girlfriend is here and will probably go and do this at some point. So if you could speak on what was it like being there with your significant other, as far as like you're going through your healing and opening up, was it good to have someone who's so close to you there to share that experience, or it was almost like, oh, I'm blocked in a certain way, or things that are coming up are related to where I'm blocked in the relationship or things? So what was the dynamic like of going on that journey with a significant other? And that's my piece. Yes, go to Peru if you feel called.
Okay, so at first I felt like it might be a little bit of a hindrance because usually if you're there with somebody that you love, you've been with them for several years, you worry about them. And so I felt, well, it's going to be kind of like a hindrance. I'm not going to be able to work on myself, and you know, my attention is going to be split. you know, and at first I was like, well, maybe then we can just kind of be on separate ends of the Maloka, you know, so then I'm not paying attention to what he's going through, blah, blah, blah. But once I got there, and we also prepared before we went on the trip. We did a lot of spiritual work, we got on the diet, and I felt like, you know what, I'm going there for a purpose. I'm going there for myself, whether he was going to go or not. So I felt that I could really just let go of thinking about him and what he's going through, knowing that he's going to go through his own journey regardless of if I was there or not, or if I was involved. Because most of what I went through, which I had intentions when I first got there, and some of them were what involved our relationship. And that was totally not what ayahuasca wanted to work on. She wanted for me to work on myself. And so she took me a totally different route. And so there was never a time where I felt like my attention was split, except for one night where we kind of all took a little bit more. And yeah, so I think we all got a little distracted during that ceremony, just a little bit. Right. But other than that, I was able to fully focus on myself. But I think if you're going to go as a couple, you really should prepare beforehand so that there's not that hindrance there, that there's not such a, you know, if codependency, because I'm sure a lot of us have to deal with codependency, especially in relationships. If that's an issue for you, that definitely, you need to work on that before you go, because then that can block your experience, and really not help progress in your own inner work. So that was my experience.
Yeah, I tend to agree with Maya on a lot of things, but you know, for us, it's a little different, I think, than for, you know, a lot of other people, because we've done a lot of things together for a long time in our lives. So it was like our first experience, so we know how to, like, you know, leave each other alone. But yes, we had a couple of times where it was like, you know, you can't help it. This is the human being that, you know what I mean, that's everything for you. So you have to put some attention in there sometime, you know. But I think, like I said, like if you just do a little bit of work before you go, and like I said, nothing's gonna really prepare you for what's coming. Of course, you know. But I think that just doing some things together, doing some type of ceremonies together and stuff like that, whatever that may be, that would really help to kind of, you know, let you. Because sometimes, like they said, a lot of times they separate the couples. You know, they put them on kind of opposite ends, and I'm not into that. So I was kind of happy that we could deal with things. But like I said, I think it's because, you know, if you do some things together that's in that spiritual way, then you know that spirit is taking care of them, spirit is taking care of you, and tomorrow when we have a conversation, we could really let it out. But yeah, there was definitely one night when we partied a little too much inside the Maloka. I mean, it wasn't a party, but I'm just saying it was very active. It was very, and so I failed that night. But it's awesome. You'll enjoy it.
Well, it's a great question. I'd say anyone who goes in needs to realize that, you know, like ayahuasca has a mind of its own as well. So, I mean, like the story of man plants and God laughs. So ayahuasca does amplify your process. So for me, I'd say it just took me really inward and helped me work on whatever was unresolved in my life that might be causing any potential lack of love. In other words, ayahuasca is basically about love, and it either shows you love or shows you what's in the way of love. And love being the central essence of the universe in every molecule, every atom. And we're so busy day to day running around getting our stuff done that we don't realize that, you know, love is the answer, just the way the songs the Beatles been talking about and world religions at the basis. So for me, I'd say it pushed up things that weren't about love, that might have to do with my childhood or my patterns in the past that were standing in the way of love. So a lot of it was just sort of internal, but then gave me a chance to see them and then eventually work through them and then feel more love and feel any walls come down that had to do with that. And it is definitely a balance of understanding or getting to know somebody new and other people around us, how to like work with those dynamics of having your own individual space and then also how to share that space. We were placed in 2 separate malokas, or tombos I should say, 2 separate individual huts, which is good for that alone processing. So just realize if you go with somebody, family members, friends, you will need your downtime and your alone time. But then there's also time to regroup and share, and just being able to honor and respect each other's needs.
I agree. I still have to do a lot of work, and I think that just like Ray and Amalia, we do a lot of meditation and things like that, and a lot of preparation beforehand, which really helped to just have that understanding of what we were going through there. And I feel like it helped me personally how I relate to others, especially people close to me. So in that way, it really helped. But yes, you do need time to kind of process things. But I enjoyed it there very much.
So is there anyone else from the previous who'd like to share?
Or any question?
And then we'll... Yeah, you? No? Question? Was there a question? Okay. Excuse me. So we covered a lot of amazing stuff here. So again, I wanted to thank everybody for joining the talk today. All you wonderful people who joined the group in 2014. It couldn't have been the same thing without you, and 2013. And thank you for your courage. This is a very courageous path of being a healer and healing yourself and spreading the light. Of course, we all want to thank Dr. Kapoor and the staff there, that we just couldn't make it what it is right now. We do have a website that's under development called wellbeingrestored.com. So that will have updated information about the Peru Medicine Tour. And also, I know quite a few of you are interested in learning more, and continuing on, and feeling the calling and joining on the tour in September 2015. So we're just going to wrap up and announce it. This is a non-SCNM trip. It's organized privately outside of SCNM, and it's during the academic break week. So it does not interfere with your finals or any other classes you have going on. And because for some of us in the 3rd and 4th years with our clinical times, we only have a week break before clinic starts. So this is in respect of that as well. So you depart Friday, September 26th, and you're back in Sunday in time for clinic. And you're going to stay in the rainforest of Peru 8 days, 7 nights. And it includes everything. They cover your food, your accommodations, and there will be time for 4 ceremonies and 3 shamans to work with you during the ceremonies. There'll be a staff, there'll be the doctor. And we have time for rainforest walks, which is all around. There's a boat trip down the Amazon and to the beach, which is lovely. And plant medicine lectures by the shaman, translated by Joe. And that includes a fare to and from the airport. So you picked up a little motor car with your bags hanging out by the little hook and flying around all the place. And we do have a time to go to Iquitos downtown to shop, to buy beautiful gifts, to shop in the medicine market, to eat the food there. So this is a very small trip. They mentioned it's a very busy time of year right now with multiple dieteros. These are people who go for spending extended times there at the center. So there's a small number of spots available, and the way we're going to do it is just really simple. Somebody who's interested, you can just post-date a check now and next quarter when your financial aid comes in. And there's an application process because we want to make sure there's a resonance and a fit. You want to feel a calling, and we want to make sure it's balancing. There's some faculty who want to go possibly. People want to go again from last year and so forth. We're even going to have you could book your own flight or go through a travel agent. So it's really simple. And the next step basically is just to